Good afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Sonal Bhutra. With me is Vivek Iyer. There's some support that we're seeing from the lows suddenly after that fall from the highs, and the market continues to be range bound. So we'll discuss that and a lot more, but a lot lined up on the show today as well.
Quite a lot lined up. Some exclusive, stories as well lined up on this particular show. But first up, let's start with the headlines. Stocks drift lower after a strong opening. Private banks and financials see some gains, while PSU banks, along with oil and gas, are the big drags. Midcaps in line with Nifty.
Angel One under pressure after its gross client acquisition slows down for third straight month, down 16.8% on a month-on-month basis. Stock slips over 5%.
KEC International surges over 12% on order wins worth 816 crore rupees across various segments. The total order intake for FY24 is now 18,102 crore rupees. The management told CNBC-TV18 that they aim to post margins of 7.5% to 8% in FY25.
Pipe companies like Astral and Prince Pipes in focus after a positive note from Goldman Sachs. Brokerage firm initiates coverage on both the stocks with a buy, says they expect overall pipe sector's total addressable market to reach $7.5 billion by FY28. Okay, those are the top headlines, but the bigger headline is the fact that markets have recovered quite a bit from the lows. So the Nifty is up 140 points. That's been a one-way move on the Nifty at the day's high right now. And it is led by Bank Nifty, of course. The mid-caps, which were outperforming till now, are actually underperforming, but of course, in the green as well. So the private banking index, that is doing well. We have some of the other names which are doing well as well. Some of the names that should come up for you, I know we discussed mid-caps in the show, but right now, just let's take a look at what is leading to this big surge that we are seeing from the lows. Something like an HUL, Titan, there's L&T, DRL, M&M, so auto names, and some of these FMCG names, these are leading to the gains. And HDFC Bank, of course, that's the big one that continues to do well after that strong update that we got for Q4. So a whole host of things that we are tracking, but you do have an exclusive on UPL.
Absolutely. So it's a very important and interesting development that we are picking up on UPL. What we understand from our sources is that the company is looking to launch an IPO of its seeds business, which is known as Advanta Enterprises. We understand that this particular IPO could hit the bourses in early FY25 itself. We understand that the company has already gone ahead and appointed the bankers who are BofA Securities, Morgan Stanley and JM Financial, who will be managing this particular issue. We understand that UPL is actually seeking a valuation of close to $4 billion for this particular seeds business. And we also understand that UPL is looking to divest close to 10 to 12% in Advanta Enterprises via this particular IPO. What will UPL use the proceeds of this particular IPO for? Mainly for deleveraging. The company has so far missed the targets for deleveraging that it had set for itself in FY24. This will be an important step in that direction. Now, understand when we're talking about Advanta Enterprises, it's a joint venture or a partnership between UPL as well as KKR. KKR had acquired close to 13.3% stake in the company for $300 million in September 2023, and the remainder of the stake is held by UPL. Now, talking about how Advanta has done in FY23 and FY24, FY23 revenues of close to 3,560 crore, EBITDA close to 920 crore. 9 months FY24, there has been a spurt when you're comparing it on a like-to-like basis. Revenues at 3,030 crore and EBITDA of close to 893 crore versus 771 crore on a year-on-year basis. Remember, talking about UPL, debt is the key figure to track. UPL had a net debt of close to $3.77 billion at the end of December 2023. The rights issue so far, is on track, but has been slightly delayed. So this particular proceeds of the IPO will be used to go ahead and reduce the debt, and that is something that the market is keenly tracking.
Oh, yes, and that, as you said, would be the big trigger. The debt number, they've not been able to meet their guidance as well because of whatever is happening in the agrochemicals industry. So the Advanta, first, they basically restructured, and Advanta was one of the segments there. And this was something which was expected, and there is a possibility it could happen in FY25 itself to deleverage the balance sheet. The stock has seen a spike from the lows of the day, up around 2.5%. With that, we've been talking about the Nifty names. Let's talk about the Midcap Movers. We have Hormas to take us through the mid-caps that are moving around in trade today. Hormas.
You're talking about UPL, and while I was preparing for this, I was about to mention that just as UPL exited the Nifty, it is among the top gainers on the Midcap index, and that will feature in this list as well. The UPL is among the top Midcap gainers in today's trading session after the news break. Along with that, we have Ipca Labs and Bandhan Bank as well, both of them trading with gains between 3.5% to 4%. A slew of companies came out with business updates starting this morning, and those include the likes of AU Small Finance Bank. There's up 3.5% after the business update. Angel One 5% lower after gross client acquisitions fell for the third straight month on a month-on-month basis. Dabur 4% lower now at the lowest point of the day after it said that demand trends remain sluggish. Vedanta is down up 3.5%, and IEX as well reacting to its business updates. Midcap IT, those stocks are doing well in today's session, and that is on the back of some positive brokerage commentary coming in from JP Morgan, and they upgraded both Coforge and Persistent Systems. Coforge, they initiated coverage, I beg your pardon, 3% higher for Coforge. Some stocks that are moving on the back of strong volumes, and those will come up on your screen now. Deepak Nitrite is one of them. JSW Energy off the highest point of the day, but trading with strong volumes, as is Bank of India. But there were some strong movers in yesterday's trading session. They are seeing a bit of profit booking from higher levels. Vodafone Idea is down 2.5%. Massgaon Dock was up 11% yesterday, is down on 2.5%. Redington and HPCL completes the list of losers. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Hormaz. Midcap IT seems to be the flavor today. But let's now welcome Samit Chavan of Angel One for a technical check on the market. Good afternoon, Samit. How's the market looking like? It seems a bit choppy today, but can the up move sustain?
Good afternoon. That is the question to watch out for. If you see since last 4-5 days, every time Nifty reaches its all-time highs, 22,500, 22,550 kind of zone, some sort of nervousness starts to happen, and we are seeing intraday wild swings in the market. Today also we have seen after decent gap of opening, we witnessed a nosedive in first couple of hours, and in last half an hour, 45 minutes. We have already seen a V-shaped recovery, and market is almost at days as we speak. We would rather wait for some sort of decisive closing to happen beyond 22,600. If that happens, then that could trigger that would unfold a next leg of the rally probably towards 22,800, 900. And for that, since IT stocks have started participating, banking stocks, which are doing well since last couple of weeks. For Bank Nifty, 48,200, 48,500, these are the levels to watch out for. If Bank Nifty manages to surpass 48,500, then probably we would see, convincing move in benchmark index as well. So as of now, we would rather, wait for this breakout to happen, and at a time, one should stick to stock-centric approach, and that is what we have been seeing since last couple of weeks.
And what would that stock-centric approach be? What are your picks?
IT has been doing well since last 4-5 days already. Metal stocks have given decent move. TCS is the one stock that has formed good base around its important support cluster of 3,700. From here on, we would expect a move towards 4,100, 4,150 TCS. As a trader, one should keep a stop around 39.20 and go long at current level. On the short side, we are seeing some weakness or say profit booking in two-wheeler spaces. So Hero Motor is the one that is poised for some correction. 46.20 would be the stop loss level, and one should go short for a target of 43.50.
Thank you so much for that, Samit. We'll watch out for those names. Now, before we slip into a short break, here's something you must not miss out on. CNBC-TV18 presents India Exchange, where market experts and industry stalwarts will collaborate in insightful discussions on India's economic path and the evolving dynamics of the Indian market, mapping the macros with City India economist Samiran Chakrabarti. Catch a Jugalbandhan between market veterans Manish Chokani and Ramdev Agrawal, return of the animal spirits with India Inc., and a conversation with V. Vaidyanathan of IDFC First Bank, KK Mystery, and Manish Kejriwal of Kedara Capital. Also chasing alpha with market experts like Nilesh Shah of Kotak, Prashant Kempta of Vito Capital, and Anish Tawalke of ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund. Don't miss out on this. Tune in to CNBC TV18 today evening, 5:30 p.m. onwards. Welcome back. The company in focus is Moil. The company recorded its best ever production in a fiscal year since inception. Production jumped by 35% on a year-on-year basis at 17.56 lakh tons. We have Ajit Kumar Saxena, the Chairman and Managing Director of Moil, joining us now to discuss further. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us here. First up, take us through the headlines of FY24. Give us a sense of production, supply, as well as demand on ground.
But the production was around 17.56 lakh ton, 1.75 million ton, registering a growth of around 35% over CPLY. Sales was also good, around 15.3 lakh ton. That is growth of 30%. And there's still manganese is being imported. There's a lot of potential for Moil to produce more and more.
Mr. Saxena, that was going to be my next question. You had indicated there'll be a growth of 20% in FY24. You've done better than that. Sales volume growth has been around 30%. What is the outlook for FY25 now that you're saying a lot of it is still being imported, so there is more growth available? So what kind of growth levels are you looking at when it comes to volumes for FY25?
At least 15%.
15%. Is it because of a higher base that is just 15% this time?
Definitely, it is because of a higher base, and we have just started. Last year we started with 20% and reached 35. Let us see what happens this year.
So there is a possibility there could be an upward revision to this 15% as well, according to you.
Definitely, if we do better, then we will definitely be reviewing it. Last year we started with 20% and we ended up at 35 because we continuously we kept on reviewing.
Okay, sir. So now talk to us about EMD. EMD, what is the guidance? We believe it's of a lower base, but we also understand that it has a tremendous potential as it goes into batteries. So give us a sense of that particular business.
Look, this year we have registered, I think, the highest production since inception. I can say the very old plant is capacity of 1500 ton. We have produced about 1400 something, 1413, if the figures are correct. So this year we expect to reach 100% capacity or a little more than that.
Okay. This was about the capacity on EMD. Can you give us a sense of what is the outlook on manganese ore prices? And most importantly, how have they changed in Q4 versus Q3? And I know not many days in April, but what are the trends suggesting? Where could it go from here on?
Look, it would be fluctuating. But it seems that it will not go further down. So I expect nearly same price trend what we had in the last 6 months.
Okay, so was Q4 steady? It was equal to what you saw in Q3?
Yeah, almost.
In absolute terms, Mr. Saxena, can you give us that number just for the understanding of our viewers as well? How much was it?
Right now it is for 37%, it is around $3.95.
Okay, sir. So we understand that when you're talking about the commodity sector and commodity prices, they've been fluctuating quite significantly. So you've given us a guidance in terms of the prices. Also, now going forward, FY25, how do you expect prices to pan out? You've given us a 15% volume growth guidance. Can you also give us a sense of what kind of top line, margins and bottom line growth we can expect in FY25?
Look, domestic steel production and consumption is showing a positive trend. So, and also India is importing. So for Moil, it is not an issue. Overall, global steel production last year it was around 1.8% growth. This year also it is predicted 1.8 or 1.9% growth. So maybe globally the consumption remains same, but within country it is going to increase. And at least Moil will have margins. Because on an average for last 4 years, we have imported around 5 million ton every year.
So will you be able to maintain that 29% margin mark is what my colleague is asking. What is the outlook in FY25 that you have in terms of a top line growth and also in terms of your bottom line growth?
It will be around 15% also in volumes. And price fluctuation, as I have said, it will remain there. So it's difficult to guess the other figure, but volume growth we can definitely is something what we can control. And that will
what about
definitely be there.
Yes, we do take that point. Prices keep fluctuating, and that is not something that you will be able to address or guide for as well. But what about margins? Is there a steady state that you're looking at? 29% in quarter 3. What is the outlook going forward?
It is nearly same, 22% or so.
Okay, 29 to 30%. Got it.
Okay, sir. Sir, we also want to understand currently what is the cash that you have on books? Would you be looking at a buyback sometime in the near future? Do you have a dividend policy in place? And also, what is the kind of capex that you have lined up for FY25? Basically, what we want to understand is how will you utilize the cash on your books?
Capex last year, I mean 23-24, over 22-23, we did around 20% growth. We did some 245 crores in 22-23 and around 300 crores part in 23-24. This year we expect nearly same, maybe 4 to 5% hike. And so capex will be around 300 to 310 crores also.
Okay, 300 to 310 crores will be the capex that you'll have this time around. Can you give us a sense of what is the total manganese requirement in India and how much is the dependence on imports that has declined? Can you give us a monthly number? Because earlier you had said that imports have fallen from 6.5 lakh ton per month to 4.5 lakh ton per month. Has this number come down even further?
Till last year, the figures were, so you can say around 3 million ton is being produced in country and around 5 million ton, 4.5 to 5 million ton is being imported. So consumption is around 7.5 to 8 million.
Okay, I'm sorry, can you repeat that number, sir?
Within country, production is around 3 million ton. Okay. And on an average, for last 4 years, if you take the average, it is 5 million ton which is being imported. So country is consuming to the tune of 8 million ton.
8 million ton is what the country is consuming, and imports have fallen as well from those levels which were earlier. So 4.5 lakh per month it was earlier. What has it fallen down to?
No, it was 4.5 million ton last year, and before that it was 6.5, and last year it was a tentative figure that was 5.5. So if you take an average for last 4 years, it comes out to be around 5 million ton.
Got it.
So one more question. I don't know, to what extent you'd be able to answer this. So we have seen a trend, especially in the last year, after the kind of rally that a lot of the PSU stocks have seen, that the government has used this to go ahead and conduct OFSs on these stocks. So an offer for sale has been done, especially in companies where the government had more than a 75% shareholding. We understand that currently the government has close to a 65% stake in your company. Have you heard anything about any upcoming OFS? Will the government use this as an opportune time to trim stay?
No idea.
Okay, so there's been no communication, nothing that has been given to the company from the government. Okay, last question. Just wanted to, get a clarity on the EMD growth. What was the number that you said, Mr. Saxena?
This year we have produced around, the growth is around 28%. And coming year, I expect it to be around 8 to 10%. I mean, the 24-25, I'll be producing around 10% more than what we have produced earlier.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that clarification, Mr. Saxena. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us today and giving us all those details. So that's the word coming in from Moyle, looking at a 15% volume growth in FY25, and in the EMD division, looking at a 10 to 12% growth. The prices, they have been quite steady in Q4 versus Q3. We'll do one thing. We'll slip into a short break. We'll get you more on the markets and stock-specific action on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Midcap Radar. Well, this is time where we get in a lot of quarterly updates, and Dabur is one of them. The stock is lower. The demand trends in the quarter gone by remain sluggish. Mangalam is here to tell us more of what the management said and what it means for the stock as well. Mangalam.
Well, more of the same for the FMCG space, and Dabur, as we speak, is currently at the low point of trade because the street was hoping for some sort of green shoots this time around. It's not come by. The company said that demand trends remain sluggish during the quarter, even though the gap between the growth in urban and rural is narrowing. So that means over the next couple of quarters, with better monsoon and better, sowing, crop sowing, etc., we may see rural demand pick up, but that too has been postponed up until the elections and the monsoon season itself. Consolidated revenue for the company is expected to register mid-single digit growth during the fourth quarter. And remember, this is also the quarter where the Badshah acquisition is in the base, so that may not, add further to their overall revenues that we've seen to the tune of about 2.5% the first 9 months of this year itself. They do expect consumption to pick up in the coming months, and in their performance itself, it's the home and personal care segment which has grown in high single digits. There were weaknesses in both the healthcare and F&B segments. Healthcare because of delayed winter, F&B largely because of a high base, so they will register low single digit growth. What's doing well for them, however, is, and perhaps the entire FMCG space, is that the raw material prices have continued to stay range bound and lower, so there would be gross margin expansion. The company would see operating margin expansion. Let's see whether that translates into bottom line or not, given a lot of the one-offs. For the non-India part of the company, which is roughly a quarter of their revenues, there would be currency depreciation that would impact the reported numbers in their international business. So let's see how that comes about as well. But for now, no further improvement or visible improvement in consumer sentiment has led the Dabur stock lower.
Thank you so much for that, Mangalam. Next up, remember, Goldman Sachs today initiated coverage with bullish calls on pipe companies, both Astral as well as Prince Pipes. In our segment, Midcap Spotlight, Upasna will focus on these stocks. Upasna, over to you.
Well, Vivek, pipe sector remains in focus today as Goldman Sachs has written a positive note. It says it has initiated a buy rating on Astral with a target price of 2,300 and even a buy rating on Prince Pipes with a target price of 720 rupees. It says that the real estate total addressable market for pipes is likely to grow at a CAGR of almost 14% from FY24 to FY28. Also, in terms of real estate profit pool, it estimates it to grow at a CAGR of almost 17% over FY24 to FY28, and it expects the overall pipe sector total addressable market to reach almost $7.5 billion by FY28. Well, it likes Astral as it believes that the company has a higher exposure towards real estate, CPVC and home building theme. Also, strategic capacity expansion in high ROCE pipes segment is what the company has. It also likes Prince Pipes on various factors such as company's partnership with Lubrizol for CPVC supply and FlowGuard brand, and also companies shifting focus towards high-value products and real estate. Management is also professionalizing in its management structure, is what the brokerage has indicated. Hence, it likes Prince Pipes as well.
Thank you so much for that, Upasna. Both the stocks are doing quite well in the session today. One stock we'd like to highlight is HDFC Bank. Now, what's actually happened as far as HDFC Bank is concerned is that the latest shareholding pattern has been updated onto the exchanges. Nuvama Alternative Research has analyzed the latest shareholding pattern, and they say that as far as increasing the weightage of the stock in the MSCI index is concerned, the company has missed the bus this time around by just around 5 basis points. So now the expectation was that there would be a foreign room of close to 25%. The company this time around, when you're talking about the headroom available for foreign investors to further put in stake, it has missed the bus as far as the MSCI criteria is concerned. So on the back of that, Nuvama Alternative Research believes that there were expectations of HDFC Bank weight in the MSCI actually going up quite significantly. However, it has now been deferred at least till the next quarter when there will be a further update as far as the shareholding is concerned. On the back of that, this time around, do not expect a weight increase in MSCI. But that's all the time we have on this edition of Midcap Radar Mutual Fund Corner when we return.